In this video, we're going to walk through review sets, how to make them, how to track them, all that kind of good stuff. It's done differently in the Quincy system than it is in summation, and so I want to point out those differences. What we're going to do here is we're going to create review sets. We're going to use some review sets, and we're going to track them. So let's go in and do just that. All right, to start things out so that we have sort of a totally clean, fresh sort of dynamic, I am going to start by making a user. You cannot make a user in the Quincy system. You need to do it in either summation or FTK. That will be alleviated soon enough, but for now, that's a limitation. So let's do that. Databases, administer users, create user. We're going to call this guy a reviewer. Make his password ABC123. Oops. Yeah, ABC123. Okay. We just need him to exist. We don't need to assign him any privileges or anything like that. Just that simple. I just wanted to do that to sort of make sure you guys see we're starting from a clean slate. So we're going to go into administrator, in as the administrator now. Okay, now we're going to go directly into our admin console. And we're going to create a role for this guy. Ignore all my junk roles at the moment. These are from previous demos. And we're going to create the reviewer role. We can give it a description, but I don't care in this case. We're going to give him access to the desktop. We're going to, again, we're just trying to highlight review sets here, so we're not going to make things complicated at all. We're going to give him access to the grid and the filter and the viewer. We're not going to give him access to any of these widget filters or the quick filters. And here we're going to make him a restricted viewer. This is critical. You must make the viewer a restricted viewer. If you do not, he will see all the records in the case. That will defeat the entire purpose of the review set. He has to be able to view data, so that's a clear one. And he also must be able to view tags. That's because in Quincy, the assignment of restricted records is done through tags, so he must be able to see them in order to be a restricted viewer, to see anything. So let's just do that, and columns will just give him general, and that's that. So I think we got everything there. Let's give him access to tags. Excuse me, we want him to be able to tag, so we need to give him access to tags. All right, we're going to go ahead and save that. Wait here for a second for it to refresh. It did it. Excellent. Now we're going to go into our users. And we've got a review user that we just created. And we're going to give him the role of reviewer. There we go. And that's all we need to do. Oh, and let's give him a case. We're just going to do the iPhone 4 case and just leave it at that. Nothing overly complicated here. Just one case, one role. And there we go. And it refreshed, and we're all set now. So we have given him the correct permissions. He has access to the case, and he has the widgets and the restrictions on him we would like to have on him. Now we need to log into that case and decide which records we want to assign to him. So let's do this. And let's do this. I'm not going to belabor the point of finding documents to assign to him. I'm just going to filter on some pictures. We'll make this sort of a picture case. We're going to filter on some graphics, and we'll give him access to some graphics. That's simple, right? Okay, now the next step here is you have to create the label that assigns the records, if you will. To do that, you right-click on labels and you create permission labels. What users you want to create permission labels for. In this case, we're just going to do the reviewer. And that's good enough. And it will refresh and it will create that label for us. And there it is. Okay, that was all we needed to do there. Now let's just simply check mark these 15 objects and label them with that label. Anything we label with this label, he will automatically have access to, because his restriction is anything with this reviewer 1008 label on it. I can even now go into FTK and label documents with this label, and the reviewer will get access to those documents. So I don't need to be in this in Quincy. I can do it from FTK. But I do want to create that label, that permission label in Quincy, because it just ensures that it will work. So now let's log out. Did I hit that? No, I don't think I did. Let's log out, and then we're going to log back in as the reviewer and see what happens. Okay, we call them reviewer. Having typing trouble. Reviewer. Okay, we're in. We remember we gave him access to very, very little. This was just meant to be a really simple demo for review sets. He has access to only the one case we gave him access to. He logs in. It's pretty quick for him to log in because he has access to only a few records. And here are the 15 records we gave him access to. And he can go through and tag or do whatever it is that you guys have all decided he's going to do. Let's create a label. Reviewed. All right, and let's say he reviews those documents, and he is going to flag them as reviewed. All right, and let's just see a few of these documents. I don't actually know. This is just some random data set. I don't know this person, but in any event, so he's looked at a couple of documents. He's flagged a couple. We're going to say he's done. He's going to log out. Now we want to track him. We want to see what kind of progress he has made. Okay, to track the user, we come into the tasking widget. And we go to user progress. And we select the reviewer and the case he has access to, which in this case is the iPhone. And it will show us that he has, this is case 4, the case he has access to. He's been assigned 15 records. He's only viewed 4 of them. He's tagged 8 of them with the reviewed label. If we want to get a little bit more detail about him, let's go one step further. Let's see what actual activity he did. So again, we're going to select him. And we can see he's only, well, we only basically logged in twice, or we only did actually, excuse me, 2 things. And so it's sort of meaningless to track how much work he has done or hasn't done, right? Because this is only a span of 1 minute. But nonetheless, let's say it spanned 20 days or whatever, we can see that he has worked, well, how much time he has worked over the period and all that kind of good stuff, right? How many hours he has worked, all that kind of. So you can make sense of, hey, well, listen, he has apparently completed all of his work, but he clearly hasn't even been in the system doing much for very long. Likewise, you can say things like, well, he tagged 8, but he only viewed 4. That doesn't make me feel comfortable. It means 4 of those records he just randomly tagged. These are the kinds of things you can keep track of using review sets. So that's just a brief overview. Well, hopefully that is helpful. And this is a feature we expect to continue to grow. So if you have any recommendations or suggestions, pop on the message board and let us hear them. Thank you very much.